Hey everybody, TH from exEXPERTS here, and we are answering your questions. One question that came in is, what age can kids choose a parent to live with? My son, who's 15, wants to live full-time with me and see his dad 1 to 2 times a week and every other weekend. What are the rules? So we answer as many of your questions as we're comfortable answering, considering we're not lawyers. But we do have our resident exEXPERT, Rebecca Stern, here. She is the founder of Pearl Mediation, and she mediates across the country. And she is going to answer this question for you today.
Sure. So if you're post-judgment, meaning you already are divorced, you already have your parenting plan in place, especially with a 15-year-old, you're going to need your child to buy into that plan and be comfortable with it and cooperate, because you can't get your 15-year-old son to do a lot of things. You're not going to get them to go to another house if they're not feeling like that's something they're okay doing. So very much follow your child's lead and what they're comfortable with. And then at that age also, they have their own friends, activities, their own life going on. That's really what you're revolving around more than anything else. And I would just keep in mind that we start with the best interest of the child when you're going through your case. And that's where we always stay, is what's going to be best for your kid. And if your kid is a teenager, then they're at an age when they can tell you what they really need. And that's just what we need to support as parents.
Okay, now what if she is in the process of negotiating her parenting plan through her divorce right now? Let's say she's not signed on the dotted line to a parenting plan.
I would say stick with what's realistic. If you've been doing things one way in the past, they're not going to work in an entirely different way in the future, most likely. And again, look to your child. What do you know he or she is comfortable with? Maybe you want to talk to them about it and get their feedback on what they'd be comfortable with. And from a legal perspective, I would talk to your attorney. Your attorney in your specific jurisdiction is also going to know how the judges in your county look at things and tend to rule and tend to think about these things, because it is different from one jurisdiction to another.
I also just want to add 2 cents. I was negotiating with a very difficult ex-husband and father, and it didn't really matter what my kids had to say. So we needed a parenting plan that worked based off of my kids' schedule at the time, but they were 8, 6, and 4. And by the time they were teenagers, they didn't have that schedule anymore. So having flexibility on both sides is really important. And if you're not getting it from the other side, then I say your kids should voice their thoughts to the other parent. There's really no downside to it.
Absolutely. The same way that your ex is going to hear something differently from a professional than from you, same goes for when they hear something directly from their own child as opposed to their ex.
Thanks, Rebecca.